Okay, this is a real off-the-cuff video, real high wire stuff with no net, because I've not really got anything planned. I've got a few notes. I've just watched another video, by my man, Food/Vibes/Nature Herbs. It's about opening your third eye. When you open your third eye, you lose friends. And it's true. You can open your third eye through sun gazing, through meditation, but opening your third eye, as my man rightly says, all it is realizing that you're not the body. So you say my hand, my nose, my mouth, my shoulder, my elbow, but you don't say I elbow, I nose, I hand. So who's I and who's my? Language gives it away. There's two separate things here. Talking about the body, like a Russian doll, you know, when you open it up, there's another one inside. You open that up, there's another one inside. It's a little bit like that, but there's only three really: physical body, astral body, spiritual body, soul. That's it. And in those three, the second one, the second heaven, is the spiritual world, is where the demons live. I know my hand was doing that, but don't take that into anything, because, you know, like I say in the later videos, I used to do that as like perfect, you know, where you go perfect, perfect, or perfect, you know, all these hand gestures, you know. Anyway, okay, so the Matrix, you know, like agents, because demons work through people, Christ can speak through somebody. But as much as Christ can speak through somebody, a demon can speak through somebody. Like Morpheus says to Neo in the Matrix on his first training video with the agents, he says they are everybody and they are nobody, and that's how they say, you know. It's like the demon said in the Bible when Jesus confronts this man who has his demon. Asked his name, and he says we are legion, for we are many. I believe a legion is 42. I think that's a biblical number, 42, and 4 and 2 make 6. 6 is obviously the devil's number, so there's a bit of numerology in there somewhere. Right, I've got to go quick because I've got a lot to cover. Third eye matrix. Okay, so you can only see through people, and you can only see through the tactics of this world being set up as the ruling classes over the last 300 years. What they call the ancient promise from the founding fathers of America is actually, the ancient promise is what Lucifer gave to Eve, that when you take this fruit your eyes will be opened. In my opinion, that fruit was flesh. I think the tree of life that they were not to take the fruit of, even if it looked good to eat, it was not some apple, man. Come on, some freaking apple. It was an animal. It was probably a lamb. You know, that would be ironic, wouldn't it? It would probably be a lamb. And as soon as they ate meat, they could see good from evil. Why? Because they had to kill the tree of life. They had to kill the tree of life to get that knowledge. Okay, so vegetarianism, I'm not an avid vegetarian. I've slipped a few times, but when I've slipped, I've been smacked really hard for it, because it's a no-no. Okay, don't let people fool you saying, you know, eating meat, you know, an animal dies in a state of fear. The cows are in the line before they have the bolt in their head. They're in fear, and that fear's flooding their body, flooding the flesh and the bones with adrenaline, and then you're eating that flesh and taking it into your body. What do you know? So the only way to really become a vegetarian and be completely convicted is to spend a period of time without meat. And if you're a first-time vegetarian, watch the slaughterhouses and the chicken coops and the rooms that they've got and how they kill them and this, that and the other. I guarantee you'll not eat meat again, and if you do, then that's your problem. I'm not judging you if you eat meat. Don't, because everybody's at their own level of consciousness, but eating meat is definitely a no-no. You can do without it. You can get as much protein from soya as you can from. And I know people that are really good cooks, and man, I tell you, you don't eat meat. Okay. Yeah, everything in the movies is copying life, that's true. And I would definitely recommend to see the movie They. When the guy, he has his sunglasses off, and then he puts the sunglasses on. As soon as he puts them on, he can see on the dollar bill it says, "This is your God." Da-da-da-da. Definitely see the movie They. But they're also putting out things like Aliens, and good aliens and bad, so they're going to set up scenarios, so we accept this thing. Okay, so, yeah, we are under the beast system, but I think there will be, and is, a point of no return. Let me just come back to my man here.
20 or like you still in the Matrix, you still worried about the show that's coming on, you still worried about the basketball game, you still part of the Matrix. You have not reached your higher consciousness. You have not reached your Christ consciousness yet, bro. And this is why I stay away from people. You know what I'm saying? This is why I don't fuck with a lot of people like that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't think like this. A lot of people are still stuck in money, cars. Oh, gotta go to work, gotta go to work. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with going to work because we're all in the B system.
Absolutely.
We're all under the white supremacy system.
Absolutely.
Okay? So, at the end of the day, you still got to work for the beast. But when you work for the beast so much that very system that he created is taking all your energy, like, if you work so much that you don't even have time to get on your knees and pray to Jesus, if you work so much that you don't even have time to spend by yourself and just have some you time, something's wrong with that.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And this is the thing. Okay, so we got 418. Alright. Have a look. The number 1111. I don't know, there's probably quite a few that keep seeing the number 1111. Personally, my experience started about 2 to 3 years ago, started seeing the number 1111. So I checked out some Bible verses and I thought, well, the best one to check is Revelation. Seeing as Revelation is, everybody's saying, and the conspiracy theories are saying, and the big awakening is saying that we are in Revelation. Revelation is, I could go back on Bible verses 11:11 in Ecclesiastes and Joshua or whatever, but I think this is very important because it's about death, and that's everybody's nemesis. Okay, so check this out, right? It says that there are going to be 2 witnesses in the last days that will prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out their mouth and devour their enemies. If any man will hurt them, in this manner he will be killed. These have the power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have the power to over waters. When they finish the testament, the beast that ascendeth at the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. And this is the key. This is where we get into 11:11. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street, the great city, spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. They dwell upon the earth, they rejoice upon their dead bodies, give gifts to one another, because the 2 prophets that tormented them have died. And then 11:11. After 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So basically, that's a message of hope. That's life over death. Yeah, that's basically saying that those who read that 11:11, That's the passage that those that are seeing 11:11. That's the passage that you're drawn to. 11:11 Revelations. It's about the two prophets that testify Christ's testimony and are killed because of their testimony, and then the bodies are left in the street, and then they come back to life again. That's sometime in the future, okay? But nevertheless, 11:11. What I'm saying to you in the here and now is that 11:11 is sending you towards those two prophets, but not just towards not so much towards those two prophets, but the fact that God has life over death. Good. God, the word God means good. God, Christ, has life over death. He's triumphed. He's above the body. He's here. Yeah, life over death. And that's the promise. So these founding fathers with the Illuminati one eye covered and this, that shit and the other, making all these signs, and that's what I say to them, man. That's what I say to them, because we've also got an ancient promise. 11:11. They couldn't stop that happening. The Ethernet is a portal. These places here, they're portals. I mean, in one sense, this is a portal to my man here. Food, Vibes, Nature, Herbs. Okay? But it's a good portal because we got a good connection. And there's a good connection here because it's Revelation. Like this new tab, that's empty. That's the empty area. Okay? I don't know if you've understood what I meant by that, but so it can work both ways, basically. It can work both ways. I think that's about it. So yeah, I would say not only study the Bible verse 11:11 Revelations about the two prophets and life over death, but go back through the Bible and take every 11:11 verse out of every single book, and I bet you that it all links up. I bet you they all link up. I'm going to do it myself. In fact, I'm going to do another video after I've done the research, and I bet you they all link up. If somebody does any research before me and links them all up and says it is something to do with life over death, because at the end of the day, everybody, that is what we've got facing us all, death. But none of us, we're all so busy caught up in life, doing these things, doing those things. So I just got a notification then on my screen. You see how involved you get, So I suggest everybody has some time away from the Ethernet as well. Maybe while you're doing it, check 11:11 out, or 11:11 out, whichever way you're looking at it. Okay, so TIs, I think you know what I'm talking about. Like I say, I'm not talking about gang talk anymore. They can get on with it. Send it back. Send it back to them. I'm talking about Christ now. I'm talking about death. I'm talking about our lives. I'm talking about what's important. Not Illuminati, Bilderberg Group, this, that, and the other. While we're worrying about all that, they're making the money and staying at the top. Okay? We've got to get our promise. We've got to get what was promised us in our hearts, what's in our hearts and what we feel, what's important to us right now in this place. Okay, I'm going to make it 14. God bless.